This video is sponsored by Sophos Home. 2021 is nearly here, or depending on when you're watching this, 2021 is here right now, which means a new year and new Apple products. And so in this video, we're gonna go over what you can expect to see released from Apple in 2021. Since the end of 2020 brought us Apple's new M1 chip and 3 new M1 equipped Macs, it makes plenty of sense to expect to see some more new Apple Silicon Macs, and the first one could very well be a new iMac. Apple is working on multiple new iMac models that have Apple Silicon chips, including both high-end and entry-level models. There have been rumors of a redesigned iMac that features an iPad Pro design language, with thinner bezels and a 23 to 24-inch screen size, perhaps a replacement for the current 21.5-inch model. Apple is also working on Apple Silicon chip designs with as many as 16 high-power cores and 4 high-efficiency cores, but high-end desktop models could have as many as 32 high-performance cores, perhaps replacing the iMac Pro. Apple is also working on some significant GPU performance improvements too. The new iMacs are expected to be released in spring to fall 2021, so kind of a large timeline, but as early as spring. So it's possible we're going to see the long-rumored 23 to 24-inch models earlier in the year, followed by the higher-end models coming later in the year. We also saw some AirPods this year, but unfortunately for those who were waiting for new refresh of the in-ear AirPods, those did not happen. What we did get was a new form factor with the AirPods Max. Now in 2021, it's very possible that we could see the 3rd generation AirPods that have a form factor similar to the AirPods Pro, featuring a shorter stem and replaceable silicone ear tips. While the new AirPods are expected to look a lot like the AirPods Pro, the 3rd generation earbuds will be more affordable and will lack some of the higher end features like noise cancellation and probably transparency, since you won't have active noise cancellation. And Apple is also said to be developing a new wireless chip that could be included in the new AirPods 3, and battery life could also see a decent improvement. Moving on to iPads, we also saw a new iPad Pro released in early 2020, and so it's possible to see another refresh coming soon in early 2021 with a new iPad that will feature a mini LED display, because that's been rumored for quite some time now, so that could be something that we finally see happen in 2021. Apple's mini LED displays are expected to use approximately 10,000 LEDs, with each one below 200 microns in size. Mini LED technology will allow for thinner and lighter product designs that also offer impressive wide color gamut performance, high contrast, and HDR and local dimming, which dims the backlight behind the black areas of the screen, giving you better contrast between some of the brighter areas of what you're watching and the darker areas. Along with a mini LED display, the updated iPad Pro could include 5G connectivity, now that the iPhones also have 5G chips, and it's expected to have the more powerful A14X chip that's similar to the chip used in the M1 Max. Rounding out the first half of 2021, we should expect to see our usual updates for software, which would include iOS and iPadOS 15, watchOS 8, etc. And then later in the second half of the year, we could see a few more new products, like a new 14.1 and 16.1-inch redesigned MacBook Pros, replacing the current 13.1 and 16-inch MacBook Pro models. Both models could have slimmer bezels and more screen real estate because of the slimmer bezels. There's also been rumors about a new MacBook Pro that will have mini LED displays, which could bring some major improvements in display quality. Apple would also include its next generation of silicon chips, perhaps being called the M2 chip, which could include as many as 16 power cores and 4 efficiency cores, with Apple also developing 16 and 32 core GPU options. So it would be similar to what we talked about with the iMac, but in a new chip. So it's also possible that those new iMacs would have a newer chip inside as well. It wouldn't be a normal year without the release of the next generation iPhone, and we should still expect to see 4 new iPhones in 2021. Nothing's really going to change. You'll have the same 5.4-inch, 2 6.1-inch, and a 6.7-inch model, and the 2 lower-end models would be presumably called something like the iPhone 13 and iPhone 13 mini, and then you'll have the iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max. Again, we don't know for sure, but the trends are likely that that's what they would be called. Apple is also expecting to use the same general design, like I said, but at least one of the iPhones that's coming potentially could have a portless design with no Lightning port included. Apple has been working towards a portless iPhone, such as a device limited to just charging with Qi-based chargers or even MagSafe. The new iPhones could also have 120Hz ProMotion displays, something that we were expecting actually in the iPhone 12, but it just didn't happen in time. So this would allow for smoother performance along with some other new improvements to the iPhone 13 that could include a new camera technology, the faster A15 chip, and an upgraded 5G modem chip from Qualcomm. It's also rumored that Apple is working on phones with both Face ID and under-display Touch ID, and it could happen in 2021, but it is pretty early in the rumor cycle, so things could definitely change. But man, how great would it be to have under-display fingerprint sensor right now in the age where we're all wearing masks. Hopefully, when they do deliver this, it's just more of a convenience thing and not something we have to use because we're no longer all wearing masks everywhere we go. It took 4 years for Apple to introduce a new iPhone SE, but it might only take 1 year to get a brand new iPhone SE, and this time a plus-size version. Apple analyst Ming-Chi Kuo says Apple is working on an iPhone SE Plus that features a full-screen design, no Face ID, but a Touch ID fingerprint sensor built into the power button on the side of the device. This design would be similar to the iPad Air design, which has an all-display build but without Face ID, and instead it uses Touch ID on the power button, but that's on the top of the iPad. This would move it over to the side of the device where it's easier for your thumb to reach it. The new device is expected to have a 6.1-inch display, dual cameras, and perhaps 5G support, which would also make it similar to the iPhone 12. It was initially rumored to be coming in early 2021, but now Kuo believes it will see a launch in the second half of 2021. You should also expect to see some new Apple Watches, presumably called Series 7 and an Apple Watch SE 2, but we don't really know a whole lot about those right now, except for the possibility of Apple including some sort of method for non-invasively measuring blood glucose levels. Other products that we could see in the future include an update to AirPods Pro, the iPad Mini 6, a new Apple TV, and hey, who knows, maybe we'll finally see AirTags this year. Of course, I would love to know your thoughts on all the things that we just mentioned. What are you excited to see Apple potentially release in 2021? Go ahead and let me know in the comments down below. Now, before we end today's video, I do want to give you more information about today's sponsor, Sophos Home. Sophos Home is security and privacy built for an entire family, regardless if they're Mac or PC users. It utilizes the same award-winning security features that keep Fortune 500 companies safe, stopping malware, ransomware, hacking exploits, and much more. Sophos Home also protects what you do online, keeping web-based banking and shopping safe and secure, protecting webcams, microphones, and even what you type. Sophos Home secures your privacy. And to make all this protection simple, Sophos Home allows you to manage security on up to 10 computers, located anywhere in the world via the cloud. It's the best way to digitally protect your family or even your neighbors. And if you want more information about Sophos Home, visit the link in the description down below. This has been Dan with Mac Rumors. Thanks so much for watching, and Happy New Year, everybody.